there's a lot of similarities or comparables to, comparing you to the late Kevin Samuels. Mm-hmm. Was he right or wrong with his criticisms of men and women, or women?
The thing that, I gotta be honest, I did do a show one time. I got wind of Kevin when my show was already started. I was on Instagram. So I started my show April of 2020. I believe he was on YouTube by that time, never heard of him. November of 2020, he had a clip that said average at best that went viral. And then it spilled over to the Instagram world. Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, we're going to be covering part of the interview between Cam Newton and one Kendra G. Now, Kendra G has made a very big name for herself in the matchmaking space, if you will. Now, Kendra G, if I'm not mistaken, she did start her platform on Instagram first, like she said, in 2020 during the pandemic. Kevin Samuels already had his platform, or was solidifying his platform on YouTube. He had been doing it for a while.
Thank you.
As a style consultant and things like that, doing cologne and ties and shoes and suit reviews and things like that. And then he went on to trying to help men. He was a part of the Black manosphere, and he was talking about men, which that inevitably did not do too well because men were not receptive to getting criticism, unfortunately.
Message.
He switched over to criticizing women, and his platform took off, right? So giving Kendra G credit, she started on Instagram first. Kevin Samuels eventually moved to Instagram, started doing his lives, and then there's that. Well, there were a lot of similarities and differences between her show and Kevin Samuels' show. Kendra G sometimes gets very annoyed because people compare her show to Kevin Samuels. Well, your show is similar, even though you run it slightly differently, but you are critical of people that come on your show, right? That is a fact. And you have a similar way of deciphering who these people should be with based off of questions you ask, much like Kevin Samuels. Anyway, she's going to talk about something that she had maybe a disagreement with Kevin Samuels, and that's going to go into her dating and matchmaking philosophies and things like that. She's actually going to contradict herself, in my opinion, in this episode too, which we'll talk about when it gets there. But anyway, this is on Cam Newton's YouTube page, Funky Friday, so we're going to give him fair use credit on that. Before we continue the reaction, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you want to further contribute to the channel, hit the join button down below to become a member of the channel, join the Working Man Union, and hit the hype button. That does me very well in the algorithm boosting the content. So please do that if you will, or join the channel. And of course, hit the like button, subscribe, and all those wonderful things. But let's get into Kendra G's philosophy of matchmaking and her difference between her and Kevin Samuels.
And, this was a big video. And then he started doing lives on Instagram. We actually DM'd each other. I was like, I wanted him to come on my show because by this time I was 6 months in. Mm-hmm. And I started learning like, oh, there's a pattern to this. Like, oh, every woman feels as though she qualifies for this. Oh, every man feels as though he qualifies for this type of woman. So I wanted to partner. We did a couple of DMs. We did not connect. I ended up going on his show.
Now, I don't believe Kevin Samuels ever actually went on the Kendra G single show. However, most of you was following Kevin Samuels' ascension to greatness, right? She did go on his show, I believe, on YouTube, and that's where they had their viral moment. A lot of people knew who Kendra G was, but a lot more people knew who Kevin Samuels was at the time because of YouTube's a bigger platform. Not to give any shade to Kendra G, but her content started solely on Instagram first, right? Doing the lives. And so they went on there, they had their moment, they had a little spat online, eventually she clicked off, and both of their trajectories, both their careers still took off in my opinion. Kevin Samuels more, but well, he's not here anymore. And rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Let's continue.
This is what I would say. I think there was some truth. I went on his show and I said that. I've always said there was things that he said that I supported. The thing that I do not support is I don't support a woman having a man.
Everyone builds a reputation. You can be the person that shows.
Okay, Cam Newton is about to promote a male enhancement supplement. So we're going to fast forward past this and get back to the reaction, okay?
Don't support a woman having a man is better than no man. The thing that I do not support is
Factor in review. So, choose Roll today so you can show up strong.
The thing that I do not support is I don't support a woman having a man is better than no man. I would absolutely, Kendra G would tell you, have no man, get your life together, heal, become better before you go out to get another man.
But that's...
No, let me finish this. Okay. And then also I felt as though, you know, because when you say that, it means, and again, this might work. Now, I'm on record saying your dynamic wouldn't work for me, but I can respect if it works for y'all, right? But I think it's unfair to do a scare tactic at times when it comes to, well, at least I have a man, you know?
You know, I don't believe Kevin Samuels promoted that, you know, having a man is better than no man. Right now, there are more women than there are than men in the world. So, yeah, is it possible that some of y'all women going to end up sharing a dude? Yes, possibly. But here's the thing with that. Even Kevin Samuels, with his exercise your options, you know, that he used to say all the time, this also went to men that were financially able to provide for said options, right? So it wasn't like, you know, you was a broke dude, you was trying to, you know, have a stable of women. No, if you were broke, if you didn't have your money right, if you wasn't living your life right, you know, where you can be successful and prominent and rich, or at least comfortable, well, you didn't deserve to have any women. You didn't deserve to have one. And I think Kevin Samuels, he talked about that. He had guys on his show. They were coming up, they were still living in the basement with their mom. They were still working at freaking, you know, some low-level job. And he would tell them, like, and they would want these outrageous type of women, just like the women come on, just like vice versa on the show with the women. And Kevin Samuels would essentially put them in their place, just like he would the women. But that's what led him to talking to women, because every time he did that with a man, well, there would be heavy pushback because they rejected the message. And women did too, to a certain degree, but behind closed doors, they actually loved it because it was the truth, right? And Kendra, again, you're single, don't have any children, once fiance, okay, once engaged, not anymore. I don't know how many actual long-term relationships you've had, but your actual experience in the dating and relationship world is, I would say, is rather low for a, I believe, middle-aged woman. So, but let's continue.
Yes, he's doing this. Yes, he might have cheated, or whatever the case may be, but at least I have a man. No, honey, I would rather have nothing than something that is ruining my life. So that.
And secondly, there aren't many, as you would say, good men out there that aren't going to ever cheat. They're never going to talk bad to you. They're always going to listen. They're always going to freaking rub your back. They're never going to be, they're never going to give you any pushback. What you would call a good man, there's, yeah.
Where I think our messages kind of walked away from, and every man is not, just like every human is not equal, right? Every black woman is not every black woman is not equal, every white woman, every black man, all those things. But there's some men who feel as though because they're a man, that what they say goes and they can get any woman and they have more value just because they are a man. Doesn't mean I don't.
And that is not, now there are some men that do think that way. However, we all know there's a hierarchy, right? And the broke dudes, they will get a woman, but they won't have them for long, and they'll only use them for certain things, mostly recreational purposes. These type of men, they got to get their money up. They're the lowest of the low in the male society. And, you know, men that have some kind of means, they will tell you that. This guy's a bum. He's brokey. He's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you see that because the women that you might deal with are dealing with these kind of dudes. But in real life, I mean, there is a pecking order to men. You know what I mean?
Man, it means like, okay, you're not the right man. So let me enjoy life, do what I got to do, become better, and I meet more people.
But then that's where throughout my experiences of what I've seen, that's what get people every single time. That's not the man, or that's not the woman for me. And I had my partner, I'm like, bro, nah, I don't want to talk to her. Why you don't want to talk to her? Man, she don't look that good. And I then reiterated and say, what you think she see? Bro, you in some brogans, some old fear of gods. Like, you're not your best version of yourself right now, bro. So you're looking at an expectation of a woman to be fine and dandy, but you also got to see what she sees too.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of unrealistic, delusional people, and I'm speaking for the men. I'm like, dude, you ain't peak, and you won't peak. Or you know what comes with this type of woman. So when she says, hey, I need $50,000 to keep my lifestyle up, she's right.
For that woman.
And if you're not willing to pay it, guess what? Somebody is. So you can't.
Now, I mean, Cam, I will agree with you on that. There are delusional men out there. Again, Kevin Samuels tried to talk to these men in the beginning. There are some delusional men out there that are not the best version of themselves, but they want a woman that's already, you know, established, if you will. Now, some of these women might have a high level of experience, okay? But in either way, that's the woman that you most likely want. And so she's going to come with a certain level of expectations, just like you will once you meet her. That requires you to be a higher status. That requires you to make a certain amount of money. That requires you to have a certain level of experience and maturity yourself. So he's not wrong with that.
Oh man, she lame as hell for not. Listen, bro, she would not have said it, or she would not have acted if somebody wasn't willing to do it.
Exactly.
She's saying like, listen, I'm not no average, or this is what I'm expecting. So either you can provide it or step aside. And dare I speak about women on this? I only can speak about dudes, and dudes can get delusional to the degree where it's like, bro, my boy, come on, dog. Like, there's no way you can shoot your shot at this caliber chick. I see what she see. And I'm straight as ever, but I'm realistic too. I'm gonna take accountability. And I think oftentimes in relationships, people are not realistic. I oftentimes use that same kind of reality. I'm very big in the youth space. I'm very big in giving back my time, the most expensive thing to impacting kids' careers by using football. The thing that I always see high school kids do with their parents is go to an unrealistic school. It's like Georgia, University of Florida, Florida State, Auburn, Alabama, LSU.
This is a sports analogy.
This is a sports analogy.
Okay, so I'm gonna be lost here, but I'm following you.
I can make it make sense for
gotcha.
you. These are major Power 4 universities where their budgets exceed 7-8 figures, right? If not more. You're not qualified as the look test to be a typical athlete that will represent that college or university. So why even waste your time? Oh, well, God got to call it. Okay, first off, don't play with my God, all right? And just being realistic, you don't pass the metrics test that most coaches go by. You're 5'8", all right? You're not as fast as you could possibly be that other people have ran before. And they oftentimes use examples. Well, Tyreek Hill ain't that tall. You're not Tyreek Hill. And then
He's right. There are some exceptional people out there. And the way he's saying it is that, you know what, some of y'all wouldn't be able to cut the mustard. You got to get your skills up. You got to, you know what I'm saying, refine your technique and things like that. The football analogy, you know what, you where you are right now don't fit the criteria of somebody that will be able to thrive in this type of environment, that type of school. And putting that toward men, hey, look, man, you want this type of woman, but you're not that guy. Just how, as he would say it, you're not that guy. And that takes, that takes work. Some men don't want to do that. They want to stay in the hood. They want to see the pants sagging. Some guys they're going to go to college. They're going to get a skill, a trade. They're going to start a successful business, and they're going to move on, and they're going to do great things. And then they can get the woman that they want, that they desire, or just, play the field and do whatever. They can afford either way, and they have put in the safeguards to make sure that they're okay regardless if they decide to get married, fiance, play the field, whatever. They can do that because they've put in the work and established themselves. There are some men that aren't willing to put in that kind of work, and his example, I feel, is I understand it.
Now, doing that into a relationship, given the comparable, it's like you're not what that person is used to. And understanding that person has experiences that you may not match.
Right.
It doesn't make that person bad. It doesn't make you lesser than. Mm-hmm. It's just to say, hey, let's try to compare the two. And I'm just specifically talking to my...
Yes. Kevin Samuels do the same thing with women all the time. Look, you need to match up with what you want. There's a video I'm going to do with Kendra G where this woman had 5 children. She had a nose ring. She was divorced. She had 2 baby daddies with 5 kids. And she worked as a hairdresser and delivered for Walmart, a food delivery driver. And she wanted a man that she didn't want to have any sex before marriage. She wanted a man that didn't have any small children or any children at all. And she wanted this guy to make at least, 3. She wanted to make at least mid 6 figures. And she was 35 years old. It was like, you were not going to, we can all dream, right? But you're not going to find that man. You have too many, you got too many red flags. You got too many anchors. A guy that wants a guy that's making what you want him to make, he wouldn't choose you. Cam Newton making the same argument.
Because it goes both ways. Just women do have expectations. They have preferences. And I love a round of spades and a cigar smoking, that fellowship. And there's, men that are single that's looking for a woman. And, we do have a good mix of different dynamics of people that come through the establishment. And I'm like, who piques your interest? And I'm like, bro, the same girl that you pointed at, 6 other men have already pointed at her.
Right.
It's a competition in surface level form. You may not be able to compete, bro. And that's not to say she lame. It's just to say you got to step your game up.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So in reality of relationships, when I pointed to it and say like that's the issue, it's because a lot of people are expecting better than what they truly are.
Yes, I agree. I feel like on both accords, and I think I'm happy you used a man's point of view in that statement, because every time when that example is given, it's always given in the woman's point of view of that statement, that the woman wants the guy. I think that what's going on right now is because of social media, we're all in everybody's business. We're in different worlds that we're not in real life, right? So just because you're in the comment section doesn't mean you're in that world in the real life. And I want to speak from a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman. They don't want us to dream big, right? Take what you're given and you should be happy. And we're tired, and I'm doing all that I can to break that narrative. That's why I'm happy you said, that's why I joined the tech space, because I'm tired of, I'm not waiting for the man to provide me with the lifestyle. I'll go provide it for myself, and I would be very happy to do so. And I meet incredible men along the way. I tell my age all the time, because to me, that's very important. As a 46-year-old woman, yes, there's men still outside.
46, y'all. Never married, no children, once fiance, right? 46 years old. Successful, by the way. She's got the Kendra G dating singles app. Her show on Instagram and YouTube is very successful. She's on multiple radio shows and talk shows. I think she was on with Tamron Hall one time. Now she's on with Cam Newton. Her name is getting out there. She's becoming more and more famous every day, which is good for her. However, much like Oprah, her success will come at a cost to her personal life and relationships. So I don't know if Kendra G will ever get married. Unless she's frozen her eggs, she probably won't have any children anytime soon. She has had plastic surgery on her chest area, and I believe her bum too, which for a 46-year-old woman, Kendra G can get it. Okay, please don't get me wrong there. However, I don't think she will ever have a long-lasting relationship, at least not anytime soon, with her career still going upwards, right? So there you go.
Yes, it's not over. Don't believe what the world is trying to tell you, because they're living by the old rules. And I feel as though I would just encourage all people, figure it out for yourself, become the best version of yourself, and then you can attract the best version. I
have to do better with representing women as a whole, and I will.
Right.
And this is a step towards that. And I just find that's where I got to get better in 2026. It's like, I know it's not going to take, just voila, here we are. Right. But it's going to take time. I ask for grace. I ask for patience, knowing that my specific situations that I've been experienced to, not a lot of people have went through it. And for the people who have went through it, that's their specific situation. And, that's where we are. It's like, I came with a lot of baggage.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked you in this. I really liked my experience with you. Yes, people, like you said, hey, get them. That's not my spirit. I like to have conversations to get a better perspective. In a woman's seat is one of the reasons why I don't have children if I couldn't marry the guy, because it's so tough. The baby's forever, right? The baby's forever no matter what. Yeah. And to watch a guy that you potentially have a child with, because men get the grace to learn better. Like, okay, this didn't work for us, right? And now I'm going to move on, and now I found someone that works for me. But then...
Kendra G, I need you to keep it a buck. No, I need you to keep it a buck.
Enemy spotted.
It ain't always him saying it didn't work, but I know you're speaking from a woman's perspective, but hey, Kendra, you've been on the show, you've been doing this dating show for like last 6 years or 7 years almost. Some of these women come on there and they detach from their man because they want to find something better and think they can find a stepdaddy that's better than and richer than the man they had, and they end up being alone. So let's keep it real.
Like, women can't always move as easy, right? They don't have the opportunity to move as easy when they have the children, because now the new guy's gonna be like, oh, okay, how many kids? Oh, so it's like, and then now, and it's like, you're happy because you evolved and you met someone else. Yeah. So I think there needs to be a compassion for women when I say things like, no, I'm not, like, don't do situationship, because you might get caught up in something that might not be to your benefit. You have.
Now, in another section I'm going to react to, Kendra G calls out Cam Newton for that one time he said that women that have children are less valuable. But at the same time, she acknowledges that a woman that has children that's trying to get with the man after the baby daddy will have a harder chance trying to lock down a man because she has extra responsibilities now. I mean, diabolical.
All the power right now before you have sex. Find out everything you can. Learn the person. And if you still want to rock with them after you learn them, do your thing, girlfriend. Don't complain, though, if it's something that you thought you didn't want to expect, because I do believe this. One thing I do respect about you is you are who you are at the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're not lying. It's all on the table. Do you want to participate or not? And I think that if people are honest with themselves, because I even feel like with red flags, if everybody, women in particular, before it grows into something massive, there's always a sign early that you might have ignored or might have said, oh, this ain't that bad. And then you go on the next ride. And now you in Six Flags, honey. So I think self-accountability, yes. Like, you know, we talk about red flags. Sometimes you in Six Flags with all the rides, eating a cotton candy, passing funnel cake, all of it. But you had an opportunity to leave after ride number 1 and you didn't.
Okay, so this is long gone past the Kevin Samuels bit, but y'all see what's going on here, right? She said that Kevin Samuels basically told women that they should get a piece of man instead of no man. No, what he basically told these women to do is they at their level or improve. The same thing that he told men to do before he started getting onto the women. So, Kendra, I think you're a bit wrong in that, or maybe need to kind of clean it up a little bit, but all good. You didn't disrespect Kevin Samuels, and I respect that, okay? And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of the Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Let me know what you think about what Kendra G had to say and Cam Newton about Kevin Samuels, and we will spin the block on this interview a few more times, if you will, but no problem. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell. We're out of the door, and I will see you on the next video.